Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Happy Sunday. Wow, that sounded like shit. Shit. Happy Sunday morning. Oh, it's not even the right backup screen. I'm having some issues. That's why I got kind of delayed. No, there we go. Anyway, welcome to a semi-overnighter Midnight Express Exomnia stream, whatever the hell you want to call it. I just did not have the energy to put together a standard show this evening. I haven't, for those of you who weren't on the earlier stream that we did yesterday with Larry, is that I had allergy issues on Friday night going into Saturday night, and I did not sleep very well, if at all. So I drugged myself through Saturday because Saturdays are, a big day for me at the store, and we had to get these two things done. But yeah, I just did not have the enthusiasm or energy to put together our usual Saturday night show. By the way, I've been talking to Brad. We may change some formats because I think that I think I might. I know I'm going to start doing more daytime streams from here and at the center because I do want to do at least one stream from the center surrounded by the merchandise, but I don't know if it needs to be Saturday night. So I know we're going to keep the Sunday night stream for sure. So we might go down to streaming because when I first had the Saturday night show, we were only streaming a couple times a week, and then that was spread across the Poindexter Lounge. Now we kind of stream very frequently, plus our watch parties. So there's not that centralized reason that we pretty much need. We might just spread those topics throughout the week. I still got to decide. I like the Saturday night show, but at the same time, Saturdays are really busy. Aside from YouTubing, Saturdays are a busy day for my industry. And by that time of night, if I don't have customers in, I'd rather be here at home because I can just, when it's done, go right over there, go to sleep. But we're going to be taking a look at all that and seeing what works best. I'm pretty sure I let Brad know that we were going to be streaming today, so he should be here. Superman made 600 million. Looks like DCU is off to a good start. They were been off to a good start at about 500, to be honest with you. What they needed was something to change the conversation from what it's been. We needed to get from the Batgirl, Wonder Twins, and Aquaman 2 and, Wonder Woman 84 conversation into something that could actually, get some traction. So they were already in a good place. Rational, I may not like the movie, but I have a good feeling about the DCU after the watching the Creature Commandos and knowing different directors were. Yeah, like I said, if you didn't like Superman or you don't like Peacemaker, you're not going to see any of those elements in like Lanterns. So you should be safe there. I thought they did. I'm pretty sure Peacemaker and Well, okay, you know what? Strike that. I can't. I don't know for sure because I haven't watched HBO proper. And how long has HBO Max been a thing? Once HBO Max, because HBO Max is on my TV. I have the HBO Max app on my TV. I have HBO, I think, somewhere, but I have HBO Max embedded in TV, so I don't even go to HBO proper anymore. To be honest with you, I may not even have HBO. Let me check. Do I even have HBO? Because HBO Max has everything. In fact, HBO Max has more, in my opinion. I think, yeah, I don't even have HBO Max anymore, or HBO. I have HBO Max because I don't need HBO. So I couldn't tell you that one, Rational. Good question though. Clone Avenger, enjoy Peacemaker episode 1. Can't wait to see how season unfolds. Is there a cameo you would like to see, William? Well, yeah, I'd like to see Barry Allen. I would like to see Ezra Miller's Flash end up having to, consolidate some of these worlds. I've seen some Blue Beetle could pop up. I really didn't care. I didn't care about Blue Beetle in his own movie. So, yeah, but if he pops up, yeah, give me the lanterns, man. Just really, I did my part. I played ball. Now give me a lantern. Hi, Ozzy. Saw you today, my glow-in-the-dark Ozzy. What happened with William? I'm right here. Hosea. What's the Roman numeral? Is that 20? I don't know, dude. I'm only good at it when it's a Super Bowl. What's my final word on it? I like it. I did not love it. I did. I like I said, I gave out of my right out of theater review. It's good. It's really good. It's not great. It's fun, but not awe-inspiring. But I had a good time, and that's really all. It's a solid first step to get me to the other places I need to get to, even if it's not the tone, which is fine for me because, like I said, I don't want to see the Superman tone in Lanterns. I don't want to see the Peacemaker tone in Lanterns. I'm okay with those things being out there, but now that I've gone through that, Creature Commandos, now I'm ready for the type of superhero drama that I'm used to, the kind of stuff that Damon Lindelof is capable of giving to me. So, yeah, Superman was a really good movie. Not great. Good. But, yeah, so I did like it. The DC MCU, they're always going to be fighting that war. William, Peacemaker and Creature Commandos don't have the HBO static intro like the Penguin does. I don't know. I just realized right now because they're showing Fight Club on HBO proper, but I don't have HBO Max anymore, or I don't have HBO anymore because I have HBO Max. Literally, all your smart TVs, HBO Max. There's really no use for HBO. There's like HBO 2. There's HBO Signature. Actually, they got rid of HBO Family. Right now, they're playing Wonder Woman 84 on HBO Signature. But all of the things that are on HBO scheduled, I have them on anytime I want to on HBO Max. I can't answer any questions about HBO, guys, because I don't have it anymore. But I do have it, sort of. Given who's working on this fourth, I'm going to go ahead and assume that is the case. 91. Okay. Wow. Thank you. Because you see how shitty I am when it comes to sorry. I know there was a formula to figure it out because we had to learn these in school, but I haven't. We never use them. So, hi Hank Deasy, what's going on? Creature Commandos is my favorite DCU project yet. Peacemaker season 2, episode 1 wasn't bad. James Gunn is a better TV director than a movie director. I like his TV stuff better because he has time to do what I think he's really good at, and that's develop characters and get you to buy into the characters. People are worrying about whether they're going to kill Hal Jordan, and I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, it could. I mean, they've definitely killed him before, and they've kept him dead for quite some time, but I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. He's going to show up in Lanterns, but he's not going to be the focal point of Lanterns. I wasn't old enough to be reading comics back then, but how mad were how? Oh, they were hot. That was my first full year open. They were hot. They were hot. They were sending threats to DC. They would go if you can find some back issues from 1995 on for the first couple of years, where it was Ron Marz and Daryl Banks that did that storyline. Boy, they caught shit, man, from every direction. They had, I remember, because this was in the dawn of the internet, chat rooms, and this person had a GL.com core, and me and him would go back and forth about this. Because he would, I would email him like, hey, I think I think this is off base and whatever, and he would give me his opinion. We would go back, but he would have a whole bunch of people signing up to his petition, and you can actually Google this, the Internet Archive. He had a petition to bring back Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Cap, and to DC's credit at the time, they did what Marvel could not do when they were doing the switch out of Spider-Man, is they held their ground. They held their ground, all the hate, and they established Kyle Rayner, and Kyle Rayner stayed the primary Green Lantern from 1995, well over 10 some odd years without Green Lantern until you had the whole rebirth thing going on. Because when did Green Lantern Rebirth come out? Hold on. Was Green Lantern Rebirth? Because that's when they bought, I think that was 2000, was it 5? I can't remember. 2005. This is so they kept Kyle Rayner Green Lantern for 11 years without they had made Hal Jordan everything else. They had made him Parallax. They had made him Spectre. I mean, he was all kinds of shit, but he was not the Green Lantern. But yeah, they were really, really angry. They were really angry. I said this from the start. I think DC, no matter who was running DC, should be using Max to tell the upper end adult leverage stories. I agree with the business structure that he's doing now. I think there should be a place for grown-ups who don't want the sappy kid shit to go enjoy DCU. I think there should be somewhere where those same people can take their kids to enjoy the DCU. And I think there should be a middle ground where somebody who's not at others in, because you don't want to grab one person and lose the others. Get greedy. Grab mom, dad, and the kids. Get all the money. Get all the attraction. So I kind of agree with having stuff like Peacemaker level, and then having stuff like Superman level, to where you get the whole house economy involved. Yeah, he can be more outrageous on TV shows, and he can be more outrageous on TV shows when it comes to with HBO Max. You put those parental controls on there, that's it. Okay, and it looks like Brad's going to push out. Okay, hold on. I'm calling him the appropriate adjective. Starts with a P, ends with a Y. Okay, so we're not going to have a co-host tonight because Brad just texted me, said he was wiped out. Pussy. All right. I see input from the multiverse and Peacemaker. This should make other fans happy. Yeah, I mean, just a possibility. He doesn't even have to execute anything right now. Hell, in his entire tenure, say he's there for 10 years, he doesn't have to touch it at all. He doesn't have to touch anything he doesn't want to, but it lays the ground for the flexibility for somebody else to come do it if they want to, whether it's him or somebody else. Right. Why did they remove the reader's comment section in comics? I am currently reading through the Kyle Rayner, and it disappeared around 150. Oh shit. That's 100 issues into his run. you're literally 8 years into that run. That's 8 years after he debuted. And the reason why is because by the time you had Green Lantern 150, we had the internet. And even though some comics still have the letter section, by that time, 150. What year was Green Lantern 150 put out? And that was what, Volume 3, right? Wow, that book had been canceled so many times. What year was that? Yeah, so that would have been. What year did that run? Cover date was, I think, cover date's got to be in what, the 2000s? Hold on. Two thousand two. 2002. So Clone Avenger, we had long since transitioned from the majority of the input coming in from the letter section to we had sites, and by that time your artist and all the people, you emailed them. You would email them, and they for a while they stopped doing those. But no, you could still give feedback. But what you really want to look by, if you're trying to see how vitriol that the fan base was back, go back to 1995. Go back from Green Lantern 50, I would say 50 to about 70. Because those first 2 years, those first year and a half, man, they got, those little monkeys throw shit at people. That's what the fan base was doing. But they held their ground, and the book was a success. And it led a lot of the stuff Jeff Johns ended up doing, I don't think could have happened if the book had continued to fail in the interim. Rebirth of 2005. Question: what was your thoughts on people getting triggered by the orgy? I haven't had a chance to take a look at what Sean Rourke has said, so I can't really comment on that. I thought the writing in the Superman movie was basic. It wasn't anything like, it wasn't like, Man of Steel, but it was good enough to do what it needed to do. As far as the orgy, like I explained last night, and I explained on when I was on Junkies last night, it works. The orgy scene does what it's supposed to do. It works. What's happening in that scene is the usual way when he just had a bad moment with someone he has feelings for in hardcore. And every time he's done that, he throws himself into the excess, and that usually cures it for him. But here he does it again. He's got all these naked people around. There's all this drugs around. This entire environment where if he wanted to, he could throw himself into it, and that's it. All his problems usually go away, but he's not. It's not happening. Here he is. He's in the middle of a room with all these naked people. He's fully clothed, not into the vibe. He gets up and he walks through all that and walks away from that and into somewhere else. So the exaggeration, the ridiculousness, the outward frontal blow, was there as a contrast to him. It was like everything else was in brilliant color, and there's like a black and white figure that just doesn't belong there. He wasn't feeling it, and he got a must. So that scene, that contrast, that does its job. It's actually, if you look at it, that's one of the, if you can ever say there's a scene where a group orgy with a bunch of naked people works, that's the scene, given the context of the character. So I think if people explore that part of it and what the point that's trying to be driven home, I think you'd be fine with it. If you just look at it on its face value, yeah, it's spectacular. You have a bunch of, fully frontally naked people doing all kinds of crazy positions and an orgy, and you got cocaine, you got all that stuff in there. But if you look at the story that's being told there in that moment, then you would understand it. Shit. Why does he might as well just go in Spider-Man, and everybody else is. Let's see. George Cena has a point. I could have lived without the flying dog. Yeah, I can always do without the sausage, man. There's never where especially surprise sausage. You know, it's like you're not expecting it. That scene came out of nowhere. Like I was telling you, him and Hardcore are arguing. All of a sudden, he leaves. Out comes the bong. Out comes the cocaine. He's doing lines, and there's an orgy. Bam! Right, like that. I'm like, holy shit! What am I doing here? But once again, in retrospect, in context, that scene is what it needed to be. So. All right, guys. Let's see. Let me know if you have any. This is your guys' time because, like I said, we didn't have a standard Saturday show, so I'm giving you about an hour or so, maybe. Yeah, Aaron, I'm watching that. Rajah Jackson lost his fucking mind. I listen. Oh my goodness. I heard that this dude that he beat up is alive, but you can't do. You can't do what this guy did. It's supposed to be a bit. He's supposed to. They had some heat, legitimate heat outside of the parking lot, but the promoter's like, okay, let's play this out. And he goes into this ring, double leg takes down this guy and just starts beating on him. He has to be restrained. The guy was KO'd in the ring. He could have died. I am from what I understand, the dude is alive. Hold on, let me check his yeah, according to Rampage Jackson, Rajah Jackson's father, the guy did wake up. So let me look because I saw that just before I started the show, and yeah, that guy he needs to face some charges. I'm sorry, I know wrestling is a physical thing and people can get hurt, real or fake, but yeah, this is I'm just trying to check and make sure that this dude's okay. I'm looking right now because, like I said, this dude he was just taking this, and Rajah Jackson's is a really big dude. The guy he took down was a really big dude, but if you're not expecting to be attacked for real, it's yeah, it's really okay, yeah, the guy's alive. Yeah, that's some crazy shit. Yeah. He should have been taken away in cuffs for that. That was scary to see. I've seen a lot of scary shit in pro wrestling. And that always bothers me because everybody, it's like a dance. Everybody has to do their part in order for somebody not to get hurt. And when you go in and physically start wailing on a guy like that, you need to be taken away in cuffs. Ugh. Yeah, you know what? That was a little much, though. That was all the sausage. That wasn't just some sausage in movies and TV these days. That was all the sausage in movies, and it was all at once out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, okay. But once again, retrospect, got it, understood. What's been my favorite current comic book run right now? Absolute Batman. Absolute Batman. Um, I have not read Ghost Machine or what's the other one he's doing for Image? Geiger. I have not read Geiger either. I got some of them though because he was at the Comic Con. Ultimate Spider-Man is great. Ultimate Spider-Man is great. I like the Ultimates, but yeah, for me, absolute Batman is the class of comics right now for me. Fantasy football. My draft is coming up next week. If I play fantasy football, do you have your draft yet? No, I have not. And how are you feeling about your team? I kind of wish I had a draft at that point. I'm gonna do 2 leagues this year, and I'm gonna do one where I draft in person, and the other one where I auto draft. So we'll see how it goes. What's my thoughts on people saying James Gunn is disrespectful to the characters? They say James Gunn has a filthy mind. I think you meant 50. Filthy. Listen, I don't have a problem with James Gunn. Now that could change depending on if he can't adjust his style, then he has gotten other people to work these things. I don't think James Gunn would be, I think he could possibly do a Green Lantern. I think that's within his wheelhouse to do a Green Lantern. But I don't want to see him have to stretch his repertoire while he's doing other things. So I'd rather have somebody else. I don't have a problem. Most of the stuff that James Gunn has done, I've enjoyed. So I don't have a problem. Other people, I mean, it's just really easy to classify James Gunn that way. I don't. So no. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's the dance. If you hurt somebody, that guy can't work or that gal can't work. And if you hurt somebody, you hurt yourself because now that's one less person you can wrestle and you've taken away an asset from the company. So yeah, I really, that's why when people take it too far, there should be consequences. I don't know if it doesn't need to be jail time, but what this guy did, I didn't want to show it. What this guy did was assault. He's hitting him. He's not doing wrestling punches. He's hitting him. And Rajah Jackson is like UFC mode. That's a big dude. Not saying that the other guy couldn't have taken him, but when you jump on him like that, and he's expecting wrestling type punches, and you're going full blown because you have an issue somewhere. No, that's not good. Maybe. I mean, I just watched Cena wrestle his best match against Cody, his best match in years, so he's got it in him. Logan Paul's getting better. Do I think those two gentlemen are close enough to each other to be able to put on a good match? I don't know. Logan Paul has impressed me, so maybe. Something happened. Okay, so there was another thing that happened in the parking lot where I guess it was supposed to be a bottle over the head, and I guess Rajah thought he got hit or something. There was a misunderstanding of how the bit played out, and he got mad. And then they said, okay, you know what? We'll just kayfabe it. We're gonna work it out in the ring. Get a couple punches in, wrestling punches in, and then you get, that's it, right? He does a takedown, which he was supposed to do. He does the hitting that as he was instructed to do, but he's hitting him. He's actually hitting him. He's not doing the wrestling punch. He's hitting him. If you see professional wrestlers, if a bit goes too far and you stiff arm somebody by accident, something like that, you get it. You stiff arm back. You do something like that. You do. There's ways to get back at him, but it keeps things in line. It keeps people from being hurt. Rampage full on just punched him and kept punching him multiple times while he's on the ground. And no. And you can see, if you watch this video, you see the whole people came out the locker room and drug his ass out. You just that's unprofessional. Now I don't know Rajah, Jackson's wrestling history. To be honest with you, it's the first time I heard of him tonight. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's hitting him with full blown punches. You can tell he's not pulling. If you watch wrestling enough, you can tell. Let's see. All right, I'm going to read Rampage Jackson's. He released a statement about his son. I want to clear up the misinformation about my son, Rajah. I've been confirmed that the wrestler Stuart Smith, a.k.a. Psycho Stu, is awake and stable. Except he stays that way. Let's knock on some wood. Rajah was unexpectedly hit in the side of the head by him moments before Smith's match. Rajah was told that he could get his payback in the ring. I thought it was a part of the show. It was bad judgment and a work that went wrong. Rajah is an MMA fighter, not a pro wrestler, and had no business. Yes, this is 100% correct. Had no business involved in an event like this. I don't condone my son's action at all. He suffered a concussion from sparring only days ago and had no business doing anything remotely close to physical contact. As a father, I'm deeply concerned with his health and with the well-being of Mr. Smith. That being said, I'm very upset that any of this happened. but my main concern now is for Mr. Smith to make a speedy recovery. I apologize on his behalf and to kick for the situation. That part is 100% correct. Because the promotion, if there's a lawsuit or if there's anything, the promotion is going to, you're not going to necessarily, if you did not properly prepare Rajah Jackson for this atmosphere, and he's an MMA fighter, I would still think he should know not that it's not real, not to hit him like that, like he was hitting him. But it's all on the promotion. The promotion could end up getting sued. So yeah. How you doing, Antonio Baker? What's going on? A lot of people feel that way, but everybody's got that different taste. The thing about this is, I think for those of you who didn't like Superman or don't like Peacemaker, I think Lanterns is going to be up your alley. J. Scott Campbell. J. Scott Campbell. And okay, J. Scott Campbell on a frequent basis, but Scott Snyder and Neil Jagoda were excellent at Comic-Con this year. I have to laugh with the new talking point of he's dividing fans. That the fans were already divided long before James Gunn came along. You want to call them Superman fans, like Superman movie, that's 2013. They're still Superman fans. And James Gunn didn't divide up the fandom. The fandom was been split for decades now. Sometimes we just don't know how to act as fans. And if they only liked the Superman movie from 2013, that's still a Superman fan. You know what? You got people who only like what James Gunn put out and don't like anything else that came before. That's still a Superman fan. Hello, Duckman. Indie match, it doesn't matter. I mean, listen, it should. A lot of these, especially now, where a lot of wrestlers wrestle for big companies, and a lot of them go on extensive indie tours. You hurt your business if you got people doing stupid shit like that. I mean, you're going to get a Matt Cardona who wrestles a lot of indies to come to your promotion when a night before some fool got hit in the head for real with a brick. He's got his health to look after, man. So yeah, it's indie matches, pro matches should have the same standard because a lot of guys cycle through both. So you just have the same standard. No comment. I have to think about that one before I blurt that out on a live stream. So let's not. I started getting back in WWE in 2012. Pretty good time to get in there. I was all on Zack Ryder being pushed up to the top. Instead, Kane pushed him off the stage in a wheelchair and Cena kissed his girl. Yeah, now he's married to Chelsea Green, so he's doing all right. Well, that's a completely different story too. That they're basing that on Silver Girl, Woman of Tomorrow, so that's going to be a different type of story. Yeah, 100%. That promoter is going to get sued. If I'm Psycho Smith, I'm and I can't work. If I got any type of long recurring effects from having my head bashed in like that, then then it's going to be. And you know what? Every promotion, I don't care how small it is, has insurance claims for that. When I do wrestling here at the courtyard here, the promoters that do it for us have insurance claims for things like that, and then I have my insurance claim that backs up that. So. Okay, guys, what do we got? I have not slept at all in quite some time. I'm not Comic-Con 2024 tired, but I just didn't have the energy tonight. I didn't have any creative energy to put together a show, but I did want to do something. So there we go. I saw that Raja Jackson got kicked out of Kick. Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's not a pro wrestler. From even he's an MMA guy. He's just like his father. He's an MMA guy. You can go from don't get me wrong. MMA guys can come over to wrestling. It happens all the time, but you have to be trained in that atmosphere. You have to understand what you can and can't do. You have to understand no matter how. Listen, people botch spots in the middle of matches and it hurts people a little bit. You can't go cracking that guy in the head and give him a concussion. There are ways to handle it. You can give him a slap on the chest. That wasn't supposed to be that hard, but you let him know, hey, you know what? You almost took me out there. So there's ways, and I've heard wrestlers, I've seen wrestlers do this where they get the match out. They're professional enough to get the match under control if somebody is working too stiff. There's communication there. If Raja Jackson's not a professional wrestler and not properly trained, then he should not be in there. It's still on him to not. You know your strength, but it's still on him. You know, it's still on him not to do that, but it's on them for him not to even put him in that situation. So yeah. Superman fans for one person talking about longevity because most of the folks are more Batman fans than others. Well, that's across the board. Batman's more popular. Yeah. Kenneth Corrali. Love Superman 2025. Can't wait for Supergirl 2026. I think David and Millie are great in their roles for the DCU, just like Tyler and Melissa. We don't talk about that CW madness. Although I couldn't stand the Supergirl show, especially when they had Jobber Superman on there. That's Tyler Hoechling's first Superman. I liked most of the last seasons of Superman and Lois. I did not like the first two seasons. I thought the first two seasons was just high budgeted CW. They turned the corner at the end of season 2 and season 3 and 4. I did not like the Doomsday thing. I did not like the Death of Superman nonsense. I did not like Bizarro. But the Superman reveal where the crazy guy comes in to prove that Clark is Superman and he fires that shot and they go in slow motion as Clark is opening up his shirt and you see the Superman. As I loved everything about that scene. Yeah, you ain't getting rid of her. Academy Award winner, Viola Davis. You don't. Yeah, if you have Viola Davis under your payroll, you keep her there. Yeah, he is a great way. Rampage Jackson is pretty old. Now he's pretty old, but he had his son young. He had his son young. I think he had his son when he was a teenager. Quentin Jackson, otherwise known as Rampage Jackson. He's 47 years old, and his son. Dude, this guy has had a long ass career. Hold on. So Rampage Jackson is. Raja Jackson is 25 years old. He was born in 2000. So yeah, he yeah, so you see he's pretty good decent age. Hi, Film Psychic, what's going on? We went over this. I have no problem with it. At first, I thought I would have cop out, but then I'm like, all he did is say he's telling his story from the point of view of the DCU. He did not say that he replaced that universe or he's done. He didn't even retcon. He even came out and said it. Somewhere that stuff has happened somewhere, but that's an alternate universe. That's not where we're telling the story from. So for his own purposes, to get a quick, tidy beginning to where he can jump off point, I was all right with it. I was watching an old Comic Con 2018 panel with Supergirl TV series cast, and little girl came up stage in a Q&A and asked, what does it mean to be a role model? She said it means world part 2. What we are saying is, yeah, superheroes, if they're done right, even low budget ones, can have an impact on people. I mean, I was impacted. I don't know, every kid in the neighborhood, tied a red towel around their neck and wanted to be Superman. So yeah, I can see that. And Supergirl, what the show wasn't for me, but any show like that is going to be a role model for just like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. It was a role model for young girls. So. No. I like Lex Luthor in Superman and Lois. But yeah, I wasn't a big fan of all that. People forget Judi Dench was M for 2 different Bond actors, keeping Viola Davis. Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, Dame Judi Dench, another Academy Award winner. Jobber Superman. Yeah, when Superman and Supergirl were on the screen, it just felt like he was jobbing to her. Sorry. I've seen Whiplash. That's the one where what's his face won his Academy Award. Commissioner Gordon. Yeah, so he's got money. Like I said, that guy is in the hospital right now getting checked up. They're going to have to. He took a lot of shots to the head. And that's a big. Roger Jackson's a big dude. No, I would have been okay with you never using steel for anything. Yep. Thanks to Larry. I was gonna make that announcement tomorrow. I was gonna make it last night if we had done a Saturday night show, but I'm too tired. All right, we're at 47 minutes. I think I got about 13 minutes left, guys, before my eyeballs start feeling like marbles with sand on them. I hate the character Lobo, but if you're gonna make that character money, couldn't have picked a better guy. He has fun in everything he does, and I think if he has fun doing Lobo, I think it's going to be a different Lobo than we might be even expecting from the comic books. And I don't know how they're going to do him because there is no Lobo in Supergirl World Tomorrow. They're basically just replacing mercenaries, any random mercenary with him. But he's going to be shirtless because I'm not going to cast Jason Momoa and not have him be the MILF magnet that he needs to be in order to make me money. So I'm looking forward to it. My favorite wrestling moment. Man. That's a hard question for me to answer because I've watched so much on TV and I've been to so many live events. But my favorite live wrestling moment is Josh Alexander versus Real Ospreay at TNA Snake Eyes in January of 2024. My favorite TV moment was moment on TV was Kenny pay-per-view would be Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay and Wrestle Kingdom 18 or 19. And then Clash of the Champions on TV. Clash of the Champions Ric Flair versus Ricky Jack Steamboat. Best 3 out of falls in 1989. I liked it. I thought it was good storytelling. I thought all the things I liked that carried over from season 1 carried over here, so I liked it. Yeah, it's got to be shirtless. It's got to be shirtless. Yeah, the Taker Brock, that pissed me off. That whole situation. WB had a rule that if a character were too heavily a part of the DCEU, that it couldn't be used in the TV shows. That's why they did shows, but then don't do the shows. First of all, that shows you bad management. That's a stupid rule. That's a really stupid rule. They didn't have any problem with the Flash. That's a stupid rule. And if you're going to stick to a stupid rule like that, then don't do the shows. Yeah, yeah. See, and you could have seriously done some brain damage to him. Born for the role. I think you could have. I'm glad. Yeah, great that he's got it, but there's a lot of other people that could play Lobo. I don't know if anybody's born to play a role because literally, you can't. How can you say somebody born to play a role when their job is to play something else that you've never seen them do? Every actor is born to play a bunch of roles, which means another actor with a bunch of muscles that you could paint with white makeup and black eyeliner could be Lobo. And you could say that you could say every actor with makeup and conditioning could be Lobo. Because people have a fixation that comic books are not supposed to go to that level. And those are the people who don't read comics, who, in my opinion, don't have that type of understanding of, especially, well, I hate to bring it up, the generation that got their first impression of heroism from cartoons. This is where I go back to things like Batman the Animated Show not being awful, but its influences. So if you came through that stuff instead of the source material, you've never seen the type of violence that comic books actually have in them. If you're watching any of these animated shows, especially that came out into the 90s, and it had a heavy influence on a lot of people, and you're growing up now and you have kids of your own, if the very first thing you saw was a cartoon that by design did not have that violence and that hard edge, then anything that approaches that is going to unsettle you. But now if your first thing that you picked up was Dark Knight Returns or Batman Year One or Daredevil, any Frank Miller run of Daredevil, or Daredevil from Nan Nocenti and John Romita Jr., or Legion of Superheroes under Kid Giffen, if you were picking up these things before those cartoons came out, you became accustomed to an entirely different world. If you picked up The Killing Joke in 1989, the type of nudity that's in The Killing Joke is very disturbing because of what the Joker does to Barbara Gordon. Now, it's not an orgy, but there's a difference in coming from an era where the Joker is doing that and going into movies and coming from influences that cut out all that. So now you have an entire generation that will be unsettled by graphic stuff, and not just on Peacemaker. There's some people I talk to that have a problem with Robert Pattinson bashing that fool's head in. I fucking enjoyed that. And every time I have a conversation with you, and they come out, well, Kevin Conroy and the Batman animated was a definitive, and they never did that. I'm like, that. Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. You guys did a brilliant job in that cartoon, but that's not Batman. That's the Batman you first saw. Here, come over here and read this. Take a flip through this. See all that blood? See Batman toss that fool off the building? See Batman snap the fool's Joker's neck? You see what the Joker is doing? See Joker gas an entire auditorium of people, choking to death, coughing up green shit with their smile on him. See him electrocute that guy down to the bone. These are things you're not going to see in other formats. So, but now you have an entire generation. It depends on where you came through. If you came through what I grew up with, then it's not a problem. But if you came through another format where these things were excluded, it could be a problem. I don't have any yet. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting what they choose to cover and what they choose to not cover, but I will give it a watch. Yeah, and if I look at like my top 10 matches, I mean, he's been in a lot of them lately. And top 20 matches he's been in, you got to figure the one he just did with Gabe Kidd at Wrestle Kingdom was beautiful. Was a symphony of violence. I got a chance to meet Gabe Kidd and tell him how much I thought of that match. Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay both times. The Wrestle Kingdom match and the Forbidden Door match. Any measure of Kenny Omega and Okada. Not this last one. This last one was a really good match, but their other matches were historical. Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho for the U.S. title. You know, people thought Chris Jericho's career was over. He was done. He ends up having one of the best matches of his life for that belt right behind me. So, yep. Let me say this about what might be the first one. I mean, it's not going to matter. I still think you're going to see him as Aquaman again. Absolutely not. Not from what I saw. You would have to convince me otherwise. Every time I look at that costume, I pray, I thank whoever did make that movie happen, because that looked awful to me. Brock beating Undertaker was a horrible decision. It was an absolutely horrible decision. That the Undertaker's first loss at WrestleMania should have come from Shawn Michaels during the second WrestleMania in the road that they wrestled. Yeah. To tell the George Perez had some pretty saucy stuff. Yep, like, subscribe. Yeah, we got about a couple more minutes left. Batman having a no-kill rule in Matt Reeves' universe makes no sense. At the beginning, he punches the guy repeatedly in the head. The dude, yeah, everything Batman does, a dude can die from. But because we are writing comics and fantasies, we make it so that he just hurt that guy. He beats that guy with the same gauntlets that he's blocking bullets from later on in the movie. So if you can block bullets, whatever that is really, really, it's harder than your fucking skull. And he's beating the shit out of that bullet. I loved it. But yeah, when Batman is beating you like that, there's a chance you could die. Now, is his intent to murder? The no-kill rule, I understand, as he does not go into a situation to murder or kill someone. But it is a violent game. It could happen. And Commissioner Gordon's like, hey, I'd rather identify that guy at the morgue than have to pay a visit to a widow, a brand new widow, and a brand new orphan because that guy got away and killed one of my cops. Nobody wants it to happen, but it's a dangerous game. Looks like no. Yeah, 36 years for both of them. I just saw the headlines. I didn't see why they were denied, but I got a feeling that. Yeah, I was pissed. I was watching that live. I hated that. I fucking hated that. Well, the 90s was a different time. We weren't ready for this time. Anything pre X-Men, I don't know how good it would have done. Oh no, I don't think I think Dave Meltzer gave one of them a 6-star. I don't think he's given. He doesn't give Omega bad star ratings. I don't think he did. No. I'm wondering if Spider-Man's going to be rumored to be in this fucking movie. Everybody else is. Both of them. Bret Hart should have negotiated that title off of himself, but he didn't want to lose it in Canada, and Vince McMahon should have done a better job of not doing that during the match. So I think they both have equal blame. Yeah, you probably want to establish Batman in his world that he exists in before you throw him in the Peacemaker. I got to get ready for work. I'm behind. Be well, fan. Yeah, you too, man. Thank you for loving the show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. All right, guys. Oh, Bella Ramsey? Not now. Maybe as May Parker in the future movie, but WWE's. It's an accident. It's an accident. An accident happened, but the rig gave way and he fell. It's on them. It's a 1 in a million chance that would ever happen. I mean, he had done that so many times as a Blue Blazer. Shawn Michaels had done it. Sting has done it all the time. And, you know, the same guys who set up the rig the day he died are probably the same guys who set up the rig 1,000 times for a whole bunch of different people. And it just, something went wrong that day. Ultimately, the WWE is responsible, but, you know, I don't think it was malicious. All right, guys, I think that's where I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for being here this late at night. Sorry I wasn't able to give you a normal semi-overnight, but I'm super tired, and I probably extended myself doing this. We will be back on the air for the weekend wrap-up show. Might cover some heavier topics then. That'll be at 10:30, and we will set the table for the week from that point on. But, yeah, have a good Sunday. I got to wake up in 8 hours to watch Forbidden Door because I forgot that shit's in the UK. And it's 10 a.m. our time. All right, guys. Have a nice night. Have a safe morning. And we will see you tonight.